Greetings to you, and welcome to the Paula G Show, where we expand your mindset through worldwide conversations. Much love to V Ferg for the Paula G Show opening theme music, Slow Earth. And V Ferg's music can be found on iTunes, Amazon, and SoundCloud. I'm so glad that you joined me this evening. I'm so excited about this show and my guest as we open up and begin to celebrate Black History Month. To my live listeners, my podcast listeners, those of you around the state of Georgia, across the U.S. of A., my military families, my truckers, my worldwide listeners, thank you so much for joining me this evening. You know, I always say what? Time is precious. It is the one thing that you cannot get back. So for you all to think it not robbery to spend just a little bit of time with me, well, you know, that is truly, truly appreciated each and every week. And also, it is very much appreciated that you continue to keep the Paula G Show amongst the top 3 shows right here on the network. So I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. I've got to give a shout out to my engineer, Mr. Mike Barnes. Mike has been riding shotgun with me now, I think almost 4 years. And I certainly, certainly appreciate all that he does behind the scenes. So, Mike, thank you. Much love to you, darling. Much love to you. Now, family, I invite you to join my mailing list. If you have not already, join my mailing list where you will receive newsletter. It comes out each week on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I share show information and other inspiring pearls of wisdom along with interviews from around the world. And as a thank you, I will send you a copy of my free ebook entitled The Mindset Journey. You know, I always say the greatest conversation you will ever have, the one that takes place where? In between your ears, because it affects your mindset. It determines your destiny. It determines your perception of yourself, of others, and the world around you. So I've just collected some of my thoughts in regard to mindset. So the way that you can obtain it is you can go to my website, www.paulagvoice.com. You can click on the home page. There's a Mindset Journey icon. You can complete the subscription there with your name and email. You'll need to go into your email to confirm the subscription, and then your free copy of my ebook, Mindset Journey, will be sent to you. It's an easy read. It's about 15 pages, and hopefully it will inspire you to begin to think about your mindset, think about the things that you tell yourself, and think about your perception of things and so forth. So I hope you enjoy the read. You can also find it on my fan page, Paula G fan page. There's also an icon there that you can click on as well. And if you wish to reach out to me, you can do so. For those of you who tweet, and we know there are a few that tweet in this country, you can do so at Paula G402 or at the Paula G Show. Also on Instagram, Paula G402, and as well as Facebook, my group page. I invite you to join my group page where I post my weekly shows, some weekly inspirations, and anything else that may be going on with the Paula G Show or Paula G Voice around Atlanta or wherever I happen to be, because you all know I go to London every year, at least once a year, sometimes twice if I have a little change in my pocket. And when I'm there, I'm always interviewing individuals and going to different events and sharing that information with you. So all of that you can find on my group page, The Paula G Show, and also my fan page at Paula G. And I invite you to go on there and write a review and like the page, and you can keep abreast of what's going on with Paula G. And also I want to give a shout out and some thanks to Mr. Glenn Trevelyan. Glenn is amazing when it comes to music, and every now and then he reaches out with some musical selections and suggestions. So I thank you, Glenn, so very much. And you can subscribe to his YouTube channel. It's Glenn Trevelyan. You can subscribe to his YouTube channel. It's got a lot of great musical there as well. And also, if you want to reach out, you want to share some thoughts, or if you're interested in being a guest on the Paula G Show. You can email me, Paula at paulagvoice.com. Please put the Paula G Show in the subject line so I'll know that you are referring to the show. So thank you all so very, very much. As I said, like I said, I hope you've had a great week, and we are in the month of February, and it's Black History Month, and it's the Love Month. So, we got a lot going on this month. So I hope you will enjoy and take advantage of all of the opportunities to show your love, and also all of the opportunities to share and learn a bit about Black history. We set aside, February is set aside as Black History Month, but every month is Black History Month because African Americans have contributed so much to this country. So every month we need to celebrate all the achievements and accomplishments as well. Now, before I forget, I want to share with you all that next week we will be airing a playback, because next Wednesday is Valentine's Day, y'all. Valentine's Day is next Wednesday. And it's Ash Wednesday. Oh, how are we going to work that out? Ash Wednesday, Valentine's Day all on the same day? That's going to be a struggle for some people, just a little bit. But we will have a playback next week, so make sure you check out my group page, The Paula G Show, for the playback for next week. All right, I believe that is it before we go to break. And our first song going to break is Nobody But You. So we're going to roll with that, Mike. That works. And when we come back on the flip side of the break, we'll be speaking with our guests. And I'm so excited to have them in studio as well. So we're going to break with Nobody But You. And that was Uvee Hayes with Nobody But You. And she is one of my guests this evening, and I absolutely love her music. Any of you out there that are listening that are on the stepping scene, I know you've heard that song at a step or set or two, and you've danced to that beautiful song at a step or set or two. And we are just delighted to have her with us this evening, as well as her husband, Mr. Bernard Hayes. And we're going to be talking this evening not only about Uvee Hayes and her music, but also the history of black radio and black radio, and a book that Mr. Hayes has written. And I'm just delighted. I feel like a teenager. You know how when you're a teenager and you had those certain idols that you just idolized, and you ooh and I feel like a teenager tonight. So I'm gonna try to stay focused. I'm going to try. But my first guest this evening is Mr. Bernard Hayes. He's celebrating over 58 years as a print and broadcast journalist, radio and television announcer. He's a columnist and recording artist, and he is also a record producer. He's here with us this evening to share his pearls of wisdom. He's here with us this evening to share his journey in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Paula G. Show, Mr. Bernard Hayes.
Okay, that's great.
Mr.
Thank
B,
you, Paula.
how are you?
I'm great. I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I am just over the moon to have you all back on this evening. Is Uvee with us already?
Yes, she is.
I sure am.
Yes,
How are you?
I am absolutely. I'm fine now that I'm talking to the two of you. I'm fine.
Okay.
We're having a conversation, and the rest of the world just happens to be listening. No pressure.
Well, thank you.
No pressure, no pressure at all. Well, you know, as we all know, this is Black History Month, and I always say that with the contributions that we as a people that have made to this country, Black History Month is every month. But
yes, it is.
But this evening, I really want to focus on Black radio. Talk a bit about the history of Black radio and your respective careers. So I want to start with you, Bernard, and just talk a little bit. Let's jump right into your book, The Death of Black Radio. When I saw that title the first time, I said, "Wow!" You know, just the journey behind the title itself. Tell us a bit about The Death of Black Radio and why you wrote the book.
Okay, most people refer to me as Bernie instead of Bernard.
Okay, Bernie.
yeah, Bernie.
All right.
But the inspiration for the book was that the African American community or the world at large did not know anything of the contributions of Black people in radio. You know, beginning in 1929, Jack L. Cooper in Chicago and Bob Roberts in Chicago, they had a wonderful radio program, and the Black disc jockey was a man that was the communicator, man or woman, to the African American community because they couldn't get anything done on so-called major media. You know, so that was a need for it, and there are so many contributions that African Americans and Black people have made to the industry that should be known.
And you know, I was looking at the website, the Black Radio Hall of Fame. Can you give out the website? And
it's www.nationalblackradiohalloffame.org.
www.nationalhallofradio.
National Black Radio Hall of Fame.
National Black Radio Hall of Fame. .org. So those of you
but you
listeners,
just Google National Black Radio Hall of Fame, it'll take you right to the web page.
Okay. So as having this conversation, our listeners can also be viewing the website. Just a phenomenal website. When I saw all of the faces and all of the names of those in Black radio, and you just mentioned a couple, can you tell us some of the stories or some of the journeys about a couple of the those in Black radio from years gone by?
Jockey Jack Gibson, Al Benson was one of the biggest disc jockeys in Chicago. There's Jockey Jack was at WRD in Atlanta and also WCIN in Cincinnati, Ohio. There are so many. You know, the Purvis Span, Daddy O'Daly in Chicago. You got the Herb Kent. There's so many. I guess the best reference would be go to the website because you talk about thousands of disc jockeys. Robert BQ, Donnie Brooks, Steve Bird. You know, just so many. Too many to even try to attempt to name.
What? In your opinion, what were their journeys like to, first of all, even get on the air? I know that was a journey just for some of them to even get on the air.
Mm-hmm. Well, the major stations not necessarily a major station, but any station, whether it be a major market or a secondary market, small market, black people didn't own stations. There are very few black people owned the radio station itself. And it was draconian for most people. They had to either purchase the time to get on the air, or they had to work for the owner, who treated them like a plantation worker at times. So they either brokered the time, bought the time, and tried to sell some radio time themselves to get the money back that they paid for it, or else they would work for somebody who didn't that much respect them, just use them for their own gains. You know, that was pretty bad. Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, you know, technology then is not what it is now.
Oh no. You had some of the WLOK, you know, the OK change. You had some people who were dedicated to the African American community because they made the money from the African American community, but the African American community didn't control. They were always subservient to the white owners. And that's just pretty bad.
Oh, wow. So tell us a bit about, the Black Radio Hall of Fame.
Yes.
There are some services that are offered. There are workshops. Can you tell us a little bit about the Hall of Fame itself? It's
a history of the achievements of African Americans in broadcasting. This is what it's all about. It's to recognize those people that contributed so much. See, black radio was always considered the stepchild. You know, they could talk about pop radio and white radio and major radio, but the African American community to our community, to our people, the disc jockeys were the people who gave them the information. It told them where to get subsidies. It told them where to get help when they were in need. It told them about the black church. It told them about black music. It told them about the gospel music and religious music. That's where the people who needed information in our community got the information. That is what was so important about it. That is why so many black disc jockeys, they didn't get paid much money. They were, but they provided a service that was certainly needed to the community. And it was a survival mechanism, actually, what it was.
Right.
You know, it was all, but it was never treated with respect. And that's why the Black Radio Hall of Fame came about. It's trying to show the people the activities, the recognition, or recognizing the achievements and things and development of black radio, what they did. So many things that even during the Civil Rights Movement, that they were the people who told where Dr. King was going to be, they would go where the march was going to be, where SNCC would be, where CORE would be. Those are the people who communicated that information.
And speaking of Dr. King, you initiated station breaks that were copied and used across the nation. Tell us about that.
Yes, well, Dr. King, you know, he has so many wonderful speeches and so many quotes from his speeches. What I would do at each station break, I'd take an excerpt from one of his speeches and play it just before the station break. You know, and that became very popular with almost all the black stations across the country. So I initiated that from San Francisco, KSOL San Francisco. Then WVON picked it up in Chicago, and then WJLB in Detroit picked it up, and then WOL actually in Washington picked it up, and it just spread across the country.
So you were part of the movement.
Yes, I was. I tried.
part of the movement. Tell us a little bit about some of the artifacts that are in the Hall of Fame.
Well, it's mostly photographs and some of the written words of some of the guys, and some of the records, LPs, 45s, the 8 tracks a bit, and but that's what it is. Just the collection of the people themselves, what they did, what stations they worked for, and their contributions to the community. And most of the jockeys, at that time, black disc jockeys, would move from city to city. Like Jimmy Bishop made his hoorays in Philadelphia, then he moved to California. Magnificent Montague left New York, went to California and started Burn Baby Burn. A lot of people who worked in different markets. Donnie Brooks left St. Louis, went to Philadelphia, then on to California. Steve Bird also, all these people. So they moved around as a mobile.
Yes, they've moved around, and you have quite a impressive roster yourself of those that you've worked with. I believe I saw Al Benson and Richard Stamps and Rick Ricardo.
WGS in Chicago,
Yeah.
We all worked together there, WGS was owned by the people. So, it was 24-hour-a-day facility, and that was the information station for black people. Al Benson, Rick Ricardo, Richard Stamps, Norm Spalding, McKee Fitzhugh, Sid McCoy. That was a lineup at WGES, and I was the chief staff announcer there. Yeah, so it was really great.
So tell us about the Soul Brotherhood.
Soul Brotherhood was a TV show. Jim Gates and I called Jim and Bernie's Soul Brotherhood. It was the same as Soul Train. Don Cornelius saw our show, and then he started actually Soul Train in Chicago. So they started about the same time. Don and I were very good friends. We worked together at WVIN in Chicago. And but when I came to St. Louis, I came here from San Francisco actually, but Don saw our TV show and knew about it. And simultaneously, just about both shows started. So when you saw Soul Train, you were looking at the Soul Brotherhood or the Black Circle Hour here in St. Louis.
Wow, who knew? Who knew? And then also there was another. Was there another show, the Black Circle Hours as well?
Yeah, the Black Circle Hour, Circle Hour, and Soul Brotherhood, both by Bernie Hayes and Jim Gates. We left one sponsorship at the same station, Channel 30. We left one sponsorship and then created another show called the Soul Brotherhood. And then Doug Eason took over the Black Circle Hour. So we actually had two African-American dance programs going on at one time.
Wow.
Yeah, one was a spinoff of the Black Circle Hour.
Yeah. So I take it also with that being said, you have met and worked with a lot of artists, and at one point in time you worked with Sly Stone as well?
Yeah, Sly was we hired Sly as a disc jockey in San Francisco, KSOL. Yeah. Sly was a local musician, and he wanted to be on the radio, so we hired him. He was the evening jock. I was a morning jock, and Sly was an evening jock, And he kind of honed his skills through radio there, although he was very popular band leader and singer in San Francisco. My wife she motioned to me about mentioning some of the women in radio. There's a page, if you notice, dedicated just to two women in radio. So we weren't overlooking the women. We were just I just brought up some names because the WVON and WINR, there were no women until Yvonne Daniels came many years later. Yeah.
And I know that was another journey. And thank you, Uvee, because we were headed in that in that direction.
Oh yeah.
That was another journey in itself. We have here in Atlanta every year in March, we recognize the women in radio, and it's sponsored by our own D. Hill here, and hear some of their journeys, as well as some of the men as well. Some of their journeys is, I feel like I'm seated at the feet of wisdom in what the women had to endure just to get on the air.
Yeah, it's still pretty bad. It's still not a level playing field for black women. If black men has it rough, black women had it rougher. And just by being this minority in a minority makes it even double jeopardy for black men and black women in this medium, or in all media.
So, there are so many that are on the air, both internet and terrestrial. So we have all sorts of folks that are on the air.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I always try to maintain a quality show. Always try to provide good content. Because there is a responsibility, I feel, in being in media and having a voice and being on the air and sharing with individuals. If you were to frame a model or rubric for what good radio, in your opinion, should look like, what would that be?
Listen to the Paula G Show.
I like that answer.
Well, it's the truth. You're a role model. You're doing what I think should be a format for African American women and men in radio. I was lucky enough to convince Purvis Spann in Chicago to turn WVON into a talk program. Jockey Jack Gibson and I were talking. I told him I had started Black Talk Radio here in St. Louis, and he said, "Man, that's a good format." And so Purvis heard that. He laughed at first, but then still 6 months later, he turned WVON in Chicago into a talk station, and you can see what it is now. This is the talk of Chicago. Yeah.
Right. Uvee, what has been your perspective on Black radio over the years? And thank you for that, Bernie. Thank you so much.
You.
I appreciate that.
Well, Black radio has been so important over the years. I really missed a lot about Black radio. The music is so different. There's an age group that's completely left out now that we don't really truly have Black radio like we did in the past.
Yes.
It is, and then I really think about like the museums that we have. We have a Black museum here, a national Black museum. And I keep saying to everyone, if it wasn't for Black radio.
Yes.
You mean there would be no National Blues Museum?
Right.
Yes. And that was one of my questions as well, was to talk a bit about the National Blues Museum. What does the public need to know about the National Blues Museum?
Well, I'm a board member of the National Blues Museum. It did a lot of research in showing the history of the blues itself. Although anytime we don't do our own history, there's going to be a void. It's going to be either distorted or some things will be omitted. Although it's a great journey to go through the museum, but yet and still it's from a perspective, more or less a perspective not from our perspective. It's not from a Black point of view. It's from a sterile point of view.
Oh.
And they even include the Beatles in the National Blues Museum.
Yes.
So you can see where so we don't own it or operate it. It's still a wonderful place to visit, but yet and still there's still a void in that National Blues Museum because we don't control it and we didn't organize it.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we are having a phenomenal conversation with Bernie and Uvee Hayes, and we are talking about Black radio and the history of Black radio. You recorded for Stax. I remember Stax Records. I remember Stax. I still got 45s, and I got 33s, got some of my daddy's 78. I'm set. I remember Stax Radio.
Stax. Mike Lamore.
Records.
It was a great record company, recording company, but Stax, and it made its mark in the industry.
Yes. Share with us. You are a media professor, correct? At Webster
University. Yes.
Share with us a bit as to what you try to embark upon your students.
Mostly
try to make sure that they leave with?
social change. I do cultural diversity in media, but mostly I'm trying to create social change. I'm trying to show them the power that they have to create social change, to make things better for the community at large, for everybody, not just African Americans or Asians or Caucasians, but it's for everybody because they'll be the future of broadcast. They'll be the future of print, also the entire medium, all media. Yet and still, they'll also be people. That's why I don't give them a final examination, because I tell them their final examination will be out in the world. So I'm just trying to prepare them for a better life and to make life better for other people.
Right, right. Wow. That is awesome. That's awesome. You also appear on let me see, a full set.
You cut out on me there. I'm sorry.
The full length movie swing set.
Yeah, swing set. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You can do that. Actually, it's on YouTube. You can see it. But there's a new one was just released called The White Rider. I'm starring in. Yeah, it's a western.
Yeah.
But the funk swing set, you can view it anytime online. The full length movie. Yeah, it's about 4 or 5 years old now.
Oh wow! So you've just been a busy man over the years. So during
but Uvee there's a cameo in the swing set. She very seldom talks about.
I just happened to have been standing at the door when the cameraman.
No, she actually played a part. She has a speaking part in it, but she plays it down. I don't know why.
You just happen to be there, Uvee.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a beautiful movie, though.
It was scripted. I don't know why she does that, because it's a speaking part that she has in the movie The Swing Set. And she makes it seem like it's nothing.
It's really a beautiful movie. It really is.
Oh,
so
wow.
when you get a chance to, you and the audience, I hope you can view it.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube. Swing Set.
Go to movie. You can find everything on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You can find absolutely everything on YouTube. So tell me, how has with your Bernie, with your career, and Uvee with your career, how have you all managed as a couple for so many years? First of all, how long have you been married?
34 years now.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yeah, but it's a matter of support. She supports me, I support her, and everybody's mutual. She's such a talented woman, but it's a labor of love. I love her, and she loves me, and that's key to it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. And I just let Bernie be Bernie, and he does the same for me.
But she's really the personality. I'm really surprised I'm being interviewed tonight because she's really the talent.
Yes.
No. Bernie has so much knowledge, so much history. I just enjoy sitting back listening to him tell about his history.
Yes.
And the people he's worked with. And when he told me about the story of bringing Michael Jackson to the city of St. Louis to do a show, and they ran out of gas, I just thought, wow, and look at,
Wow.
Yeah, Michael was 6 years old at the time.
A little guy, huh?
Yeah, the whole family was, just trying to make it, and they ran out of gas. We had to go buy them gas to get to the venue to do the show. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah,
wow, that is awesome. But I think what you shared, and I always, anytime that I have on a couple that have been married 20 plus years, I always ask those questions because, as you know, in today's society, the divorce rate is just at an all-time high, and it's I just feel people need that encouragement. People need to hear that the wisdom and those nuggets of what it takes, to keep a relate. Would you say that it takes work?
Well, my wife makes such a wonderful home. It's so comfortable, it's so clean, it's so warm, there's so much love that I don't desire to go anyplace. she's trying to get me to go out more, but I love home.
Love being home.
I love being home because
But
I'm safe, and
yes.
I'm in an environment that is beautiful and clean, and she makes it that way, and I love it.
Yes. But that's volumes to you, Uvee. When you
Thank
create
you.
when you create an environment where your man doesn't want to leave the house, my hat's off to you. My hat's off to you.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Well, it's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah. She tried to get me to leave.
Ladies, I hope you are listening. You can create an environment where your man does not want to leave the house, then you are doing something. That's a drop the mic moment right there tonight, Miss Uvee.
Nobody but you.
And you know what? Since you said that, I think we're going to listen to a little bit more of Nobody But You. So you just set
it's
that right
time,
We're going to take right on into that. And that was Nobody But You by my guest this evening, the very talented Mrs. Uvee Hayes. And I know those of you who are steppers out there were just stepping just a little bit to Nobody But You. You know, we've got a stepping date, Uvee.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and I'm gonna make it happen.
we're gonna make it happen.
That's right. That's right.
we're
Such
gonna
a
we're
precious
gonna
song.
It is. It really. It's a beautiful song, and to see, the steppers out on the dance floor dancing to it, it's really lovely. It really is. It's really lovely. So, I hope you'll have an opportunity to come to Atlanta at some point
I
and
do.
perform. Speaking of which, do you have any performances coming up soon?
I am going to Chicago the end of February. Uh, I was invited there, and I am also doing some local things here in St. Louis during the month of March. And then in April, I'm out of town, going off to Mississippi. So I'm just all around, all around.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you ever considered writing a book?
I have not.
You hesitated.
There's
You
just so
hesitated,
much,
Bernie.
it's something that I really do need to think about.
Hmm. Yes, even both of you, writing, jointly about your careers and, the simultaneous journey of your careers and your relationship as well.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a
that would
beautiful
be,
read.
yeah, that would be so nice.
Yeah, that would really be a beautiful read. So, in addition to recording, you also have a day job.
I do, I do. I work for the public school system here in the city of St. Louis, and gee,
Yes,
matter of
education.
fact, yeah, a
Mhm.
30-year job.
As a
Wow.
psychologist, you won't say that.
She won't say.
Yeah, as a school psychologist.
As a school psych.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I started out teaching, and
Mhm.
once a teacher, I just always, my first job, as far as I'm concerned, was a teacher.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
and it's been beautiful. If I had to
you know
do it over again, it would be the
good.
same.
Yes, and I've worked closely with school psychologists during my career in education because I'm a professional school counselor, K through 12. So
Oh
work very
wow, yeah,
yes. So I've worked very closely with the school
yes,
psychologists, and that's quite a job because some of you, and I don't know how it is in your area, but in our area, some of our school psychologists are over several schools. So they are
exactly.
just, yes, they are just
Same
running
here,
different.
same,
Hmm.
and you almost have to be joined at the hip with the
Yes,
counselor. It's
exactly.
just the only way. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
work involved, a
a lot of
lot of
work.
responsibility.
Hmm. And our students have changed so much over the year. Their situations and issues and whatnot have
Yes,
changed so much over the years that it's
starting with
really.
preschool.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah, even this
Some of the
preschool children.
some of the issues you're seeing in preschool are just shouldn't be seen in a 4-year-old
Yeah,
or a 5-year-old.
I'm
Yeah.
afraid so.
Yes, it
So
shouldn't be
it's been
seen.
interesting,
Yes, in a
and I just
4 or
love
5-year-old.
I love working with children.
Mhm.
I've done it for so many years.
Wow. Have you ever
Yes.
considered teaching? Are you teaching music at all?
No, I'm not. Just singing. And
Yeah.
I'm so busy with that. And
Mhm.
I'm still working on some new music.
Yes.
So, I'm just doing so much. Matter of fact, I'm just finishing up some new music with my producer, Tom Washington, in
Mhm.
Chicago.
Yeah, it's a whole different. The genre is the same, but
Mhm.
this is going to be more or less urban contemporary and adult contemporary,
Okay.
combination of both. Yeah,
And Paula is
Wow.
going to be from a woman's point of view.
yeah, that's the name of the
Well,
CD.
all right now. I love that. I like that. A
I think you're going
woman.
to be quite amazed too when you hear it. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. A woman's
Yeah,
point of
yeah.
view. A woman's
That's
point of view.
that's it. That's it. Yes.
How how have you all seen music change over the years? I was interviewing a seasoned, we shall say, gospel recording artist, and I
Yeah.
was asking him this question. Gospel music has changed so much over the last 20 or 30 years. And, his response was, the music has changed, the lyrics has changed. He said, the young people today, the music isn't the same as it was, back in our day because they haven't been through anything, is what he
Right.
said. They haven't been through the same things that we've been through. So the music has changed. So what has been your I'll say bird's eye perspective over the decades in the change in the music and the reasons why?
Well, the spiritual music, to me, is sacred, and I love Kirk Franklin and the new modern artists, but there's still something sacrilegious in how they're producing it. And what's happening to me is the record companies that are reaching out to these young people to give them a hip hop type sound in gospel music, which I think is wrong, because I know they're saying, well, you're still old-fashioned and this and that. But I still, there's something sacred. You're going to lose the Mahalia Jacksons and the Five Blind Boys and the James Clevelands if you don't preserve them. And if it's all going to be Kirk Franklin, if it's all going to be a hip-hop message, all that will be destroyed and lost. There's room for each. There's plenty of room for each, and all of it should be played. Somebody should dedicate some time to the Mahalia Jacksons as well as the Kirk Franklins, in my opinion. But I've seen the music industry change. The record companies are changing the industry, and they'll allow you to hear what they want you to hear. They still don't. The independent producers, the independent record companies are still being just squeezed out and not heard at all.
Right. And would you say that it would be similar for R&B? Because when I think of the music over the years, I'm going back, and I know you all can probably recall more names than myself, but I'm thinking the Temprees, the Dells, the Dramatics, all how the sound, the Marvin Gaye's, how the sound, the lyrics have changed. The meaning behind the lyrics and the emotion, to me, has changed as well.
Well, that's because some of the record companies won't accept certain things. They want that pure soul music, as it was, as we knew it. They won't accept some of the record companies now that direct their market to the African American community. Won't accept it unless it's degrading to women, unless it's nasty and the suggestive lyrics and so forth. And that to me is the downfall of the music industry as it is now. The people that you named, the Gene Chandlers, the Dells, the Marvin Gayes, those people are still substantive. They still have worth, and they still need to be heard. And they've changed the genre. They've changed the name of the genres. You see, they call it now R&B and hip hop. It was soul music. It was black music. In fact, some of it was blues music.
Yeah.
I once ran into a situation when I was at MCA Records when I would take a black record to a black music station, and they would tell me this record is too black.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's constantly changing. It's constantly evolving, but it's from the record company's perspective, from their point of view. It's from what they want, what they'll accept, that they'll allow you to play on the radio. And then it's strictly, it's awful.
It makes it hard.
It is terrible.
Yes. And then we have, with technology, the way that it is today, a lot of it is electronic.
Yes, if you notice Uvee's songs, especially ones she does out of Chicago with Tom Washington, they're all live musicians.
Yeah.
All live musicians. Now, Nobody But You, that's the producer there is the Temptations, Dennis Edwards, music director, who produced those songs, James McKay. Yeah. But then there's some electronic components to that. But mostly they're also live musicians doing those things. But out of Chicago, the things that she did with Tom Washington, they're all live musicians. No electronic components at all in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's where it used to be. Yeah.
It really makes a difference. And a lot of the radio personalities, when they did get my music, they would say, well, there's something different about this.
Because it's live.
Yeah, and they didn't really realize what it's right, because they've been listening to
electronic,
you know.
Yeah, duplications,
Yeah, it definitely.
It's hard, but we just have to keep doing what we do.
Exactly. Keep doing what we're doing to keep it alive and to keep it
Right.
vibrant and to keep it relevant, and
Exactly.
which just really emphasizes the importance of the National Blues Museum, the Hall of Fame, and all of these um, places where we can go, where this history is preserved, and where we can go to learn and not forget, and
Yeah.
also to hear and see their journey. I recently saw the movie Detroit, and it caused me to reflect on we know these artists and we know these groups, but we don't necessarily know their journey
Yeah.
or their
Right.
story. Just like the DJs, which you were talking about on Black Radio, they're on the air, but we don't know their journeys. We don't know what it took for them to get there, and to know their journeys, in my opinion, just adds to the value of what it is that they're doing. What they're doing is of value, absolutely. But just knowing their journeys and what it took for them to get there.
Yeah. The movie Detroit. See, it should have reflected WCHB and WJLB. Al Perkins, Martha Jean Steinberg, Martha Jean the Queen, Bill Williams, and all those different people who were there involved in the 1967 issue. You can only tell so much in an hour and a half. I understand that, but it depends on who writes the script.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the person who writes the script doesn't even know the real script, doesn't even know the real story, and so you get what they produce. But
Right.
but Detroit was a very powerful movie, and it reflected some of the truth, most of the truth.
Yeah.
Now, a movie like Cadillac Records, there was no truth to that, none.
Wow.
It's embarrassing, actually.
And that's frustrating. Yes, and that's frustrating when you know the story, you know the journey, and then you see what's portrayed on the screen
Yeah,
and not being
terrible.
accurate.
Yes.
And then knowing audiences that are sitting and watching are walking away with deception.
Yeah. They think it's the real.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to break out a lot of Uvee's turn.
Oh no, that's we're having a three-way conversation.
We're a team.
Yes. Oh no, we're having a three-way conversation here,
Yeah.
and I just appreciate both of you and just your input for you both of you. Is there anything that either one of you have not shared that you want to share? Go ahead, Uvee.
Well, what I wanted to say is that how much we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, we just love you, and I just wish that we had millions of you.
Oh, thank you.
And I sincerely wish. I know you're about to expand your listeners and your listenership, and I just sincerely hope that it's really, really comfortable to you, and I just hope it's successful, very successful, and I know it will be because with your talent, you'll make it right.
Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate that encouragement because, as you all probably know, respectively, when you're doing what you enjoy doing, you sometimes wonder, is it making a difference?
Oh, it's making a difference.
Believe me, it is.
Is it making a difference? Is anybody hearing? Is anybody listening? Is it making a difference? So I do appreciate that. I really do appreciate that encouragement. Thank you all both.
Thank you. We just thank you.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question for Bern. What's the difference between an afternoon soul jock and a midnight jazz announcer?
Well, during the afternoon, I'm playing the Temptations. I'm playing Marvin Gaye. I'm playing Motown. I'm playing Stax. And I'm with the tempo of the music.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
at midnight, the jazz thing, I'm playing
kind of
Lou Donaldson. I'm playing Charlie Parker, and I'm playing Jimmy Smith, and I'm laid back. More or less, and they thought it was actually two different people, two different persons.
Yeah, there you go. And that's why I was asking the question. I'm like, okay, he got to change hats.
Yeah,
in the afternoon, wearing one hat.
It worked.
Because
it's the way you presented the music. Yeah.
Right, right. Well, share with the audience again websites, contact information, how they can keep in touch with both of you, keep abreast of what's going on.
Well, with me, they can contact the National Black Radio Hall of Fame. I'm at Harris Stowe State University. I'm also at Webster University in St. Louis. But if they just Google National Black Radio Hall of Fame, it'll give us contact right there. In fact, we have some contacts right there in Atlanta.
And all of
and Uvee.
Yeah, and all of my music, all digital download outlets, CD Baby, iTunes, they
Amazon,
would be able to get my music.
Spotify, any digital download. And plus with some hard copies too in some of the local record stores.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
But she has a
both.
website, uveehays.net.
Yeah.
You've got a website.
Sure.
All right now.
Yeah.
uveehays.net, uveehays.net. And it gives all of the information for her, and plus some of the songs. You can even download them from that site.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and also can find some of my music on Number One Music. What else?
So many more.
Reverb Nation. Right.
Yes, yes. Excellent. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you check out Uvee Hayes. Make sure that you check out the Hall of Fame. Thank you both so much for joining me. I will be reaching out in the future to have you all back on again.
You're very kind.
We would love to do that.
You're very, very kind, Paula. Thank you, and good luck with you, too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Bernie and Uvee Hayes, and whether you have logged on live, you're listening on your phone or at archives, thank you so much for listening. And remember, playbacks can be heard at www.thepaulagshow.com, in podcast, Stitcher.com, TuneIn Radio, and also there are episodes of The Paula G Show on SoundCloud. You look under Paula G Voice. And next Wednesday, as I mentioned earlier, is Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday, so some folks are going to struggle with that one. We'll be out of pocket next week, but still check us out on my group page, as there will be a playback from a previous show that you don't want to miss. And thank you all so much for tuning in. And remember, the greatest conversation you will ever have is the one that takes place in between your ears, because it will affect your daily life and ultimately your destiny. What are you speaking to yourself? What is your I am? Until next time,